Welcome back. On today's live stream, I would like to talk about many things, but especially I will be starting this live stream by looking at this news article on crypto news. And what we are seeing is actually something I saw today, that lots of people are actually thinking that China did once more ban cryptocurrencies, but actually that's not what really happened. And that's actually perfectly displayed on this new article on crypto news that appeared on today's news and on yesterday's news. And that's something I wanted to show you because I think especially this news article, makes a lot of things clear and is very, very informative for the people who are still thinking that China banned cryptocurrencies for the second time after they banned it many years ago. So let's take a look at this news article just for 1 second. And what we are currently seeing is this over here, and I will be reading it out loud for you so you can take a look at it as well. So reports that China has enacted a fresh crypto ban appear to be somewhat wide off the mark, despite a joint statement from the three leading financial bodies underlying the fact that the companies in the nation are barred from offering crypto-related services to their clients. In a joint statement from National Internet Finance Association of China, the China Banking Association, and the Payment and Clearing Association of China, published by Shanghai Security News and the state-run news agency Xinhua, the institutions appear keen to remind firms that they must not provide crypto savings, trust, or pledging services, or issue financial products related to crypto assets. So, just to take a look at this first two paragraphs, or well, sentences, what we are looking at is actually they are just reminding companies of these rules that were made actually many years ago, before 2017, or actually during 2017, if I'm correct. And I personally think that this is a lot of thought spreading by telling people that China banned cryptocurrencies again, and that's why people are right now just really, really anxious in the cryptocurrency market. And I don't think this type of articles, not especially not this one, but this type of FUD that's being spread of China once again banning cryptocurrencies, that's not true. They're just kindly reminding, and of course that's also something in particular where you have to take a look at, that they are reminding once more to the Chinese people that cryptocurrencies are banned, but it's still just a reminder, and it's not any type of new legislation against cryptocurrencies. And I think that is very good to know. And I think there is a big difference in between those two, because it could also be just to drive the price of Bitcoin once again down by creating feud. So, the statement added that it was illegal for financial institutions and payment companies to offer their clients services relating to cryptocurrency, such as registration, trading, clearing, and settlement. So, of course, these institutions, they don't want people to be invested in cryptocurrencies. And if you would like to read even more about this article, it's a very interesting article. I read it myself, and I think it's very well written, that it's foremost that China is just once again reminding their people and the companies in China that cryptocurrencies are not allowed, because furthermore there's nothing happening at all in China. It's just a kind of reminder from their government and their financial institutions. So let's go even further and let's take a look at Ethereum and how Ethereum is performing at this particular moment. And what you're seeing right away on the Ethereum chart is something, I will make it a little bit bigger for myself. And let's take a look at this. What I think is absolutely marvelous, and what we are seeing over here, is actually that we are seeing a small recovery after this dip of today. And I think this is marvelous, because that might be telling us that we are right now finding support right on top or right underneath. Well, right, actually we're trying to break this level of resistance where we were trading right underneath during the past couple of hours, and this candle towards the upside is right now trying to break through and finding support on top of this level of current resistance at approximately 28,000 US dollar. And I think that this is great news, especially because if we see a V-shaped recovery on the Ethereum chart, but also on the Bitcoin chart, that would be a real amazing indicator that we are not heading into a bear market like lots of people are saying right now, and lots of people lost hope, especially because we have seen a huge move towards the downside being created. Of course it has been an incredible setback, and I will be measuring this out just to take a look how significant this setback is. And yes, we have seen a setback of 37% on the Ethereum chart just during the couple of previous day before today. But of course, this doesn't mean we are done yet. And why I think this is very probable that we will be going up is because right now we are already seeing a recovery at these levels, but especially because I will be placing a Fibonacci retracement level to look where we could be heading towards. And that one I will be placing from the swing high towards the swing low. And the swing low is just the wick towards the downside that was created on today's chart, and you can see it was a huge wick towards the downside where we saw Ethereum at one bit of a second trading at approximately 1,814 US dollars for just one quick pinch of a second. And yeah, where we are currently at, where we are underneath, and I think it's a very, very good place to be at, is actually the 0.382 Fibonacci level of retracement, and that's the golden pocket entry. And of course, I will be showing you as well the Fibonacci just placed right over here to look at where we are if we place the Fibonacci and slightly different if we don't count this wick, because some people think wicks are not significant, and I personally, I'm not a huge fan of wicks, and that's why I will be also showing you what the other scenario is. But what we are seeing currently is that we are trading underneath the 0.382 Fibonacci level at approximately $2,813, and I think that's just incredible, because if we find support on top of the 0.382 Fibonacci level, that is a great level. Personally, I think that's a great level to enter a trade, especially if we see a type of V-shape or no, a V-shape recovery, but after that a pullback, finding support on top of the 0.382 Fibonacci level or on top of the support underneath, and go back up once again. Because if it does so, we will be seeing a W form being created on the chart, and this means that it will be very possible and very likely that we will see a trend reversal being created. And if a trend reversal is created at this particular moment, it will be very likely for Ethereum to go once again up and climbing just once again through these levels of resistance on the upper part and trying to go once more above this all-time high that we were seeing over here. So that's personally what I'm thinking, and what I just showed you was that I am waiting for Ethereum to go through this level of resistance, find support on it, especially if it finds support on the 0.382 Fibonacci level, and goes once again up, forming a V shape as I showed you before, a W formation as I showed you before, and going back up again through the level of 0.5 Fibonacci at $3,111, and even going further up. But at this current moment, I'm just wanting for Ethereum to find support on top of this level, especially because it's a huge level and a really significant level, especially if we look at the previous data. Oh no, sorry, I was talking about the level a little bit further down. So if Ethereum has not enough strength to go through this level of upper resistance where it's currently trading underneath right now, and Ethereum stays in between these two levels of resistance and support, finding support on the $2,555 and resistance on the $2,786. I think that would be a really great scenario for Ethereum as well if it stayed in between these two lines, just underneath the Fibonacci level of 0.382, and after a period of consolidation going through and creating a trend reversal at that particular time. But as I told you before, I will be removing this Fibonacci level to place a second Fibonacci retracement for the people who don't like to measure the wicks all the way towards the downside, because I personally am not a huge fan of it. But right now, how it's currently looking, I must say that it looked like a very healthy setback, especially because if you take a look further down, we haven't seen big setbacks on the Ethereum chart, but setbacks are just a part of an uptrend, and a setback of approximately 35% is a setback that is actually pretty healthy. So that's why I'm not worrying that much, because the setback of Ethereum at this particular moment is just a setback of 37%, as I showed you before. And yeah, what we're currently looking at is, well, exactly the same as I showed you before, but right now the Fibonacci levels are slightly different, and where we are trying to go towards is going above this level of Fibonacci at 0.236. And yes, right now the end of this retracement is over here at the lowest point in the current chart, because I wanted to show you where the possible levels of resistance will be if we are going up instead of going down. So this is how it would look like right away on the Fibonacci chart. And I personally think that right now, as I showed you before, we are still struggling to go above this level of resistance and $2,789. And if we trade right over here, I personally think that we will be able to go above and finding support on it. But of course, that's just my personal opinion. Please do your own due diligence before. Please do your own due diligence, and as well find your own information about Ethereum and all other cryptocurrencies if you would like to invest in them. So let's take a look as well at the moving averages, because I'm a huge fan of moving averages. Because before I will do so, I will be moving over to the daily chart of Ethereum to show you the moving averages, because yes, the moving averages on the daily chart are more significant than on the 4-hourly chart, and I will be enabling them right now. And what we are seeing is actually a setback of Ethereum all the way down towards just above the 200-day moving average. That's the red line you are seeing over here. And right now we are currently underneath the 50-day moving average. And the moving averages, for the persons that are watching but don't know what a moving average actually is, a moving average is a level of support and resistance as well, and it provides for a lot of supports and resistance, especially if you look at the moving averages like the 200-day moving average or the 100-day moving average. They are more significant than the 50-day moving average, or for example the 20-day moving average. And right now we are currently underneath the 50-day moving average, and that's why I personally think that we are seeing a little bit of upper resistance over here, because the 50-day moving average is actually right above the candle body, what we are seeing here. And as well, the candle is underneath this level of resistance, trading right underneath it on the daily candle of today. And I am especially very curious if it will close above this level of resistance and support, of if it will stay underneath it and finding support on the level below on the $2,539. So that's personally what I'm taking a look at. And if it finds support and it trades just sideways for a while in between these two levels of support and resistance, Ethereum will be finding support as well on the 100-day moving average. And if it takes a long time, if Ethereum trades sideways for just a longer period of time, we will be seeing the 200-day moving average also getting closer to Ethereum. And once it does so, as you saw before in the chart, once the moving averages are really close, as you could see over here or over here, once Ethereum finds right on top of the moving average support, we most of the time see a small momentum towards the upside being created. And that's also what we saw over here. We were trading just above the 50 and 100-day moving average, and after that we saw this huge momentum towards the upside. We touched the 50-day moving average once again over here, and after that we were going parabolically up. And that's personally why I think the moving averages are also a great way to just take a look at what possibly could happen once Ethereum finds support on all three of these moving averages where it is currently trading at right now. And just to take a look at even more significant indicators, I will be disabling the 50, 100, and 200-day moving average, and I will be enabling the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame. And what we are seeing over here is that we are currently underneath the EMA ribbon last line, and I'm personally thinking that once we close the candle above this level of support and resistance at $2,789, we will still be inside of this EMA ribbon, and we will be finding once again support right inside of the EMA ribbon. And once we do so, you can take a look. Once we find support inside of the EMA ribbon, that most of the times means that the setback was just a temporary setback, and that we will be going up afterwards after it recovers itself and finds support on top of the EMA ribbon. So the EMA ribbon, the 50-day moving average, 100-day moving average, and 200-day moving average is something I'm really looking very carefully at during the upcoming days, and looking how Ethereum will perform in comparison to these very, very important indicators. So as well, I wanted to show you the relative strength index and the MACD on the Ethereum compared to US dollar chart, and after that I will be switching over to the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart. And yes, what we are seeing is that it might be very possible that we are not done yet with dumping on Ethereum, that we won't be able to close this candle, the body of this candle, above this certain level. And why am I saying so? It's especially because right over here on the RSI, we are not yet outside of the purple box, and we are not down below the dotted line. And once we are below the dotted line, as you can see in the past as well, an upward momentum is created after that, because the RSI likes to be inside of this purple box. Otherwise, once it's oversold or overbought, it tends to go back down, and as well the trend will follow the RSI most of the times. So what we are currently looking at is it might be possible to see a Ethereum slightly going down just for today, but after that we will be down below underneath the dotted line underneath in the RSI, and after that it is very probable that we will see once again the RSI moving up inside of the purple box, and once it does so, we will also see a price movement towards the upside being created, because this is what actually happens most of the times. Of course, it also depends on what Bitcoin will be doing. If we see another move towards the downside on Bitcoin, I personally think that we will see a move towards the downside in the overall market, especially because you can take a look at Bitcoin and see that when Bitcoin goes down, even with just 40% dominance, it still leads the market, and once Bitcoin goes down, lots of coins tend to go down as well. So I wanted to show you something differently on the Bitcoin compared to on the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart on the daily candles. and that's actually that if you are drawing a trend line, for example, starting at the 20th of April, just for the past couple of weeks, if you place a trend line over here at this level before we start going up, we can see that we are already having one touch point, that's the very beginning of this trend line towards the upside, and a second touch point over here. So once you have already two touch points and this upward sloping support line, it is enough touch points to place this line and to be looking at this line very carefully and looking if Ethereum will find once again a point where it touches with this upward sloping support line. And if Ethereum does so and does not break underneath this support line, I personally think that we will be seeing a very healthy trend pullback going on right now, and that we will be after that seeing once again Ethereum going up through these levels, and of course trading above this trend line, because once it breaks down below this trend line, that's when I personally will be having more concerns on Ethereum's strength and on Ethereum's overall look in the market. But not just this is something where we have to take a look at, because we also have to take a look at the MACD. And why do we have to take a look at the MACD on the Bitcoin daily chart? Especially because this is the first time in a long time that we saw the MACD having a crossover on Ethereum and starting with a slight momentum towards the downside. And once this happens, as we could see in the past as well, I will be just making the chart a little bit smaller so you can take a look at it. And what we are seeing is over here, a momentum switch towards the downside was created, and we saw Ethereum during a long period of time just going slightly down, and after that a momentum towards the upside was created, and we saw a lot of momentum towards the upside as well on the price action of Ethereum. And what I'm personally looking at right now, this crossover could be really significant, because this could mean that we would be going down during the upcoming week on Ethereum. And what I'm really taking a close look at is if Ethereum will be able to find support on top of this upward sloping support line, and also called the trend line for this particular moment, because we are still on Ethereum in an uptrend, and I think that's very healthy to see these type of setbacks until they go below this line. That's when I will be taking my measurements to just be a little bit more careful on Ethereum for that particular time. So that's what I'm looking at the daily candles, and right now I will be switching towards the 4-hourly candles just to take a look on how Ethereum is performing over there. And what we are seeing here is actually, yes, this trend line started over here, and on the 4-hourly candles you can look at it even more clearly that there are even 3 touch points on the 4-hourly. And if there are 3 touch points, as I said before, with each type of pattern, it doesn't matter if it's a trend line or an upward sloping support line, of a resistance line, of a symmetrical triangle, a downward channel, or a, for example, falling wedge, because how more touch points a significant line has, how more significant it will become. And right now we are seeing already 3 touch points on this upward sloping support line, and that's why I'm especially looking at Ethereum very carefully and looking if Ethereum will be able to find support right on top of it, because if it does so, I'm personally not even a little bit shocked about what is currently happening, because then it still will be a really healthy setback for Ethereum that we are looking at. So this is for Ethereum at this particular moment what I wanted to talk about. If you would like me to proceed with Ethereum, please let me know in the chat down below, and otherwise you can also place your own request on which coin you would like me to talk about. and I will be looking at that particular coin just in a matter of minutes. But right now, for all of you who are watching, I really appreciate your support, and if you would like me to become even bigger and start uploading even more videos, do not forget to subscribe to this channel down below in the description. And as well, for the people who haven't started trading on cryptocurrencies or that would like to start trading with cryptocurrencies, especially if you would like to start leverage trading, but also if you are not still confident with yourself that you would like to start leverage trading, you can also down below on the description find these top 3 leverage trading exchanges. But these exchanges are not only leverage trading exchanges, they can also be used for spot trading. So if you would like to sign yourself up to one of these leverage trading exchanges down below, or crypto trading exchanges, just use the link and you will be also supporting this channel. For so far, I'm really happy that you were watching, as I told you before, and I would really appreciate it if you please smash up this like down below in the description, and that would be just really amazing for this moment. I'm seeing that no one has a particular request at this moment, so that's why I will be switching towards the, let's take a look. What is an interesting coin where we could take a look at? I'm choosing to look at dots, and that's Polkadot, of course. And what we are seeing here is the Polkadot compared to US dollar, and I already draw a few things a couple of days ago. That's because I'm always keeping myself up to date about what's currently happening with assets that I really think that have a lot of potential towards the upside of either the downside. And I think it's just good to be aware of many types of coins at the same time, and that's why I would like to look at Polkadot at this moment. And you're seeing that we were seeing this broadening wedge being created, and what happened actually was that we broke down below this upward sloping support line of this broadening wedge, and right now we are currently just trading underneath this level of resistance at approximately $28.74. And why I'm personally thinking this is an important level of support and resistance is because we have seen already many touch points in the past on this particular level, as you can see before. Over here we found resistance at this horizontal line as well. We found several times over here support right above this line, and of course during this pullback over here we saw again that we found support on top of it. And I will keep going because a fourth or even a fifth touch point is found over here in just the period of time during the 2 previous months. And I think that's just absolutely incredible, because this level of support and resistance is just so significant for Polkadot right now. To be trading right underneath it is just, personally, I think it is for me a little bit shocking that we went even below this level, because I was personally not waiting to see Polkadot below this huge level of support and resistance. I thought that we would be finding support on top of this level, but unfortunately it did not happen. And this is also why I will be placing a Fibonacci level to show you what we will be probably heading towards during the upcoming days. And I will also show you what a possible breakout towards the downside even further will look like, and towards which levels we are heading to. So let's take a look at the Fibonacci, especially to if we go towards the downside, where it could possibly go towards. And I will be doing that by selecting just this point over here before this drop. I will be selecting the lowest point on the chart, and I won't be selecting the wick. I will be selecting just the body of a single candle over here all the way to the top. And what we're currently seeing is that we not only found support, no, I'm sorry, we're trading right underneath the 1.618 Fibonacci level, and I personally think that's also not that good. But as you can see, a green candle, this means a positive candle is being created, and right now you are seeing that the body is trying to go above this level of resistance of the Fibonacci level, but as well above the level of huge resistance that we are seeing just a small tad above the Fibonacci level. And I think that it's really important for Polkadot to close this 4-hourly candle above this level of resistance, of current resistance, and finding support right on top of it. And after that, just trading in between these two lines over here before heading even further up towards the upside. But if Polkadot does not have enough strength to go all the way up, it could be also going even further down and going all the way to the level of 2.618 Fibonacci level at approximately $14.49 if it tends to go even further down. And why I think this is very possible is because I haven't drawn the support lines there yet, but I will be drawing those and you can take a look at them. And what you're seeing over here is just over here we have a level of support and resistance, a small tad, but we are not really looking at huge levels and really significant levels like we are seeing right now where it's currently trading. It's a really significant level of support and resistance. These aren't, because there we only have 2 touch points and maybe 3 on the best case scenario, and otherwise it will be breaking all the way down to where this wick finds support on, and that is at approximately $18.14, and that's a level of major support and resistance, especially because that's just the very first level of support and resistance where you can see that there was previous resistance, but as well there was support on that level being found. So that's why I think that is a more significant level than all the other levels that we're seeing above or in between these levels where we are taking a look at right now. And yeah, I would be quite shocked if we would see a pullback of this size all the way to this $18 or even to the $14.49, because after that a possible move towards the upside would be less and less probable. But I will be removing as well these lines of this broadening wedge and as well the Fibonacci lines, and I will be showing you the possible lines where we will be finding as well resistance on. So let's take a look over here where we are looking at and placing the Fibonacci from the swing high towards the swing low over here. And what we're seeing is that we are right now currently at the 0 Fibonacci level, of course, if you place it this way, but we are in between the 0 Fibonacci level and trading, trying to go above this level of major resistance at the $28. And if we break above, what I showed you on Ethereum is also what I'm looking at right now on the Polkadot chart, is to Polkadot to create a W structure, because a W structure is a trend reversal pattern, and once it's created, it is very probable that we will see Polkadot heading once again towards the upside, as I told you as well on Ethereum. That is a great sign where I'm very curious if this will be happening on both these charts. So as I told you, if we are going towards the downside, it could be possibly going towards the $18.48 or even towards the $14. And otherwise we have to look if a trend reversal is created by a W or a real heavy V-shaped recovery, and if we see such type of recovery or W formation being formed, I think we will still go towards the upside in no time on the Polkadot chart. As well, I wanted to show you on the daily dive frame where we are currently looking at, and as well, something very special and important is, as I showed you as well on the Ethereum chart, the trend line, because trend lines are of utmost importance, because without a trend line you cannot be recognizing any type of pattern. And I will be drawing the trend line just from the beginning of this year and all the way up like this, but I don't want the wick to be selected, so I'm sorry for that. And what you're seeing over here is that on this very beautiful upward trend on the Polkadot chart, we are not yet done. We broke down below of this trend line. That's just a pity if you ask me, but I still think that we will be able to go once again up and find support on top of this trend line. And yes, it will be difficult, but that's why I will be enabling as well, once again, the 100, 200, no, sorry, the 50, 100 and 200 day moving averages to take a look where we will possibly be finding support and resistance. And yeah, this trend line has only 2 touch points, and that's why I am personally just looking at this trend line to be recovered by going once again above this trend line and finding support on it, so we could be following the previous trend. Because at this particular moment we have a type of trend reversal, and it could be possible that we will be heading even further down, especially because it broke through this level of upward sloping support. But currently what you're seeing is that this candle body went all the way below the 50-day moving average. It did not find support on it. It did not even find support on the 100-day moving average, but it is trading far above the 200-day moving average. And once a cryptocurrency or an asset is not underneath the 200-day moving average on the daily candles, I personally think it's still a healthy setback, and it's very probable that we will see this asset find support on it. And once it does so, if it trades sideways for a while, maybe by creating that well-known W formation, what I've been talking about during this live stream, and creating a trend reversal, that would be very nice if in that period of time Polkadot will be able to find as well support on top of the 50 and 100-day moving average before it does so. And going, of course, it also means that it has to go above the 150-day moving average and going through their resistance, and that is also a difficult momentum and a difficult move that it has to make. But if it finds support on top of these 3 moving averages, as you saw in the past, you will see a momentum towards the upside being created. And unfortunately, the data of previously is not loading with the moving averages and not loading at all, so I cannot show you even further what could be happening. And to take a look at the EMA ribbon, the EMA ribbon is unfortunately something we are well below the EMA ribbon, and we are not finding support inside of the EMA ribbon wave lines over here, but we are still above the EMA ribbon line over here, the yellow line, and that's also of utmost significance, because once you go below this line, then it's very probable that we will see the shorts taking over the longs on the EMA ribbon and a downtrend even further being created. But that's not that's not happening at this particular moment, so I think that's still healthy for Polkadot at this moment. And just to give you a little bit of extra data, I will be looking at the volume levels, and what we are seeing here, and what I think is of utmost importance to know, is that if you would like to know if a trend is being confirmed, if there actually is a trend reversal, you have to take a look at this. And what we are seeing over here is that, yes, on today's candle, there is a lot of volume, and that's just logic, because there is a lot of volume because lots of people are selling, and that's why also this candle is being created. But previously to that, we were not having the confirmation of the volume towards the upside when Polkadot went up. So I think it is important that we are seeing this move towards the downside being created on Polkadot. But if this volume candle is followed by huge or big candles, green candles of green volume of people buying in this dip, it will be very possible that we will see a V-shaped recovery instead of a W formation, and we won't be having to wait patiently for Polkadot to go up right inside on top of this upward sloping support line, and also the trend line where I'm currently looking at, and that I'm really hoping to pass right above and find support on it, as I said before. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. So the Polkadot compared to Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame. And yes, I was taking a real close look at Polkadot, especially because several days ago Polkadot decided to break above this huge ascending triangle with lots of touch points, even 4 touch points or 5 touch points on the upward sloping support line, and also many touch points on the horizontal resistance line of this ascending triangle. And I was personally very pumped because a lot of momentum was being created by this move of Polkadot. But after today's drop, we see that Polkadot is once again inside of this pattern, had even a wick all the way below underneath the ascending the ascending support line of this ascending triangle. But the candle of Polkadot on the daily time frame is still, the body of the candle is still just slightly underneath this horizontal level of resistance. And I personally think that if this candle is able to close above this level, it would be very healthy, because then we will still see a higher low being created. And once a higher low is created compared to Bitcoin, I personally think that we for sure will see Polkadot going straight up again and having a V-shaped recovery for sure. I will be enabling the RSI to show you where we're looking at currently, and you can take a look. Yes, we were a little bit on the overbought side once we had that huge momentum towards the upside on Polkadot. As you can see over here, we had a move towards the upside on the RSI, and as well the chart went up. And once we go above the dotted line, you see that immediately we had a pullback into the purple area, and this is just really normal. And of course we would have seen a move towards the downside, but this crash of Bitcoin made it even heavier, and that's why I personally think that we were not able for this current moment to find support on top of this horizontal resistance. But it could be very possible that the RSI is right now just finding itself a reversal, and that we will see the candle close above this horizontal level of resistance on the Polkadot compared to Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame. And I think that is really, really significant for Polkadot, and that will especially tell us if Polkadot will be able to go once more towards the upsides and finding support on the trend line, the trend line that I showed you before and that I was talking about. So once again, everyone who's watching, thank you very much for your interest in this channel, and I would really appreciate it if you left a comment down below in the comment section, and if you could request me any type of content, because otherwise I will be choosing once again a coin where I would like to talk about. But I'm really interested to answer all your questions regarding each type of cryptocurrency. But if you don't have those questions, I can understand, but then I will be looking at one of the coins that I'm following over here. So, does anyone have a request? So, not for the moment, as I see on the chat. Let's take a look at basic attention token, because I'm pretty amazed by basic attention token. It will be a short video. It will be just a short technical analysis, especially because I would like to look at basic attention token, because I will be releasing a video of basic attention token just at 9:30 in 1 hour exactly. I will be giving a technical analysis video, releasing that of basic attention token for the people that would like to stay up to date on basic attention token. And what we are seeing over here is that, yeah, there are 2 touch points over here, and we broke below this trend line as well on basic attention token. And yes, this is of utmost importance, because this means that the trend reversal is probable towards the downside. But I also think that basic attention token has a lot of momentum towards the upside still, and a lot of strength still that it could possibly reach. And why I'm thinking this is because if you compare this RSI to the RSI of Ethereum, what we were looking at, or at the RSI of Polkadot, where we were looking at, the RSI of basic attention token is actually already all the way on the part of on the lower part on the RSI. And yes, I personally think this is good to see on this particular chart, because we saw that the RSI went down. Of course, the chart followed what the RSI was doing, because the strength was, there was still less and less strength, and the basic attention token was losing strength. And once it goes underneath this dotted line, underneath the purple box where it's trading in between, it is always so that the RSI will go once again inside of the purple box and go once again towards the upside, and creating as well an upward momentum on the chart by gaining strength. And I think just looking at the RSI, that it's already this low, it means that we will be seeing basic attention token go towards the upside. And I personally think that yes, basic attention token will be able to close this daily candle above this level of support, where it's currently trading above at approximately, let's take a quick look at 82 cents. So that's what I personally think about basic attention token. I don't want to give too much details, because if you would like to stay more up to date about basic attention token, don't forget to look at the video that I will be releasing in just approximately 1 hour on YouTube. And if you like the content, do not forget to give me a thumbs up as well on this live stream and on the videos that you would like to see on my channel. So I would really appreciate that. You will be supporting the channel, and that would be amazing. So right now we are looking at basic attention token compared to Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And yes, what we were seeing was a ascending triangle towards the upside, and ascending triangles tend to break out towards the upside if the trend previous to the pattern is as well towards the upside. And that's exactly what we were seeing on the basic attention token chart. As you can see, we were seeing an uptrend towards the upside before this ascending triangle was being created. But unfortunately, this triangle decided to break out towards the downside. And of course, we are still looking at the daily candles, so this means that it is possible that this candle still will be able to close above this level of upward sloping support line, and that would be even greater, because then this trend will be untouched and will still be very probable that we will see basic attention token heading towards the upside. But if it doesn't, I already measured this, and that would be a potential move of 26% towards the downside and going all the way down towards these levels. And what I'm personally thinking is, over here we are not seeing any type of support and resistance, and there is just a lot of blank space. So if it breaks even further towards the downside, I personally hope that it will stay in between the orange box, where we saw as well in the past a huge time of support being found on it, and as well resistance on the upper part being seen. So I personally think that this is a level of support and resistance that's really significant, especially because we have previous data that showed us that it stayed in between these orange box. And that's why I think that if basic attention token breaks towards the downside, it is very probable that we will be seeing a trade in between these two levels inside of the orange box. And yeah, that's just for now what I wanted to say about basic attention token. And I'm really wanting you to give me any type of content. Otherwise, I will be talking about another coin, but this will be the last coin that I will be talking about. Otherwise, if you would like me to look at a specific coin or cryptocurrency, don't forget to leave a comment behind. Then I will be taking a look at that specific coin. So for right now, I will be looking at Litecoin compared to Bitcoin. And yeah, it is nothing new for the moment, but Litecoin as well had a dump towards the downside. And I will be looking at the 4-hourly time frame just to take a look at this chart and see that Litecoin is currently underneath this level of previous resistance, where it had seen resistance twice already in the past. And I think this is very important because it right now is finding it quite difficult to stay above this level of support, and it could be probable that we will be going even further down and trade in between these two levels at the Litecoin compared to Bitcoin chart. But it is possible that we will see Litecoin close this candle, this body candle, above this level of previous resistance, finding support on it. And if it does so, this would be incredible for Litecoin, because I think that we will be seeing a very fast recovery of Litecoin after this drop, even if this drop is absolutely devastating for the price action of Litecoin. But let's take a look at the overall market, and let's take a look at especially the uptrend where we were, what we were seeing on Litecoin. And I will be doing two different things. I will be placing firstly a trend line to just make sure we still are inside of the trend, or maybe just underneath the trend. But if we will be able to go once again back up through the level of resistance, upward sloping resistance of this previous upward sloping support line, and as well, I like to call it this way, the trend line towards the upside. And as well, I will be placing at the exact same point the beginning of my Fibonacci retracement, selecting the swing low towards this swing high and measuring where we will be finding possible levels of support and resistance. And what I am looking at right now, I haven't watched this chart yet today, but I'm really pumped already. It's just what I'm seeing is that we are trading underneath not just the trend line where we are trading underneath, we are also trading underneath the Fibonacci level of 0.382. And the 0.382 Fibonacci level is a level that's really crucial to me, especially because if we find support on top of it, or if we trade underneath but in between this level of resistance and of this level of support and in between the Fibonacci, and after that we will break above the Fibonacci level, I think this pullback will be less significant, because once we go up and find support on top of the 0.382 Fibonacci level, it is very probable that we will be breaking once again above this upward sloping resistance line and will be able to find support on it. And if we do so on the Litecoin chart, I personally think that this is very healthy for the overall trend, because if we break below this trend line, of course it's possible once we see a huge setback like this, what's happening right now in the price action of Litecoin and actually the overall market. But if we only break below this upward sloping support of the trend for a couple of hours and go all the way up and find support on it after that, of course I'm still just counting this as a test of this upward sloping support line. So that's what I'm personally waiting for, especially because if we go up, we will be also having not just the support of this upward sloping support line, but we will be also finding support on top of the 0.382 Fibonacci level, and that's as well the golden pocket entry. And if this happens, I think that's a perfect buying opportunity for Litecoin, especially if it finds support on top of this upward sloping support line and continuing with the previous trend if it does so. But let's take a look not only at the Fibonacci levels, but let's take also a look at the RSI and at the MACD. But I will be looking at the RSI just for now on the Litecoin compared to Bitcoin chart. I'm not completely sure why the EMA was enabled, but the MACD is what I will be looking at. And what we are seeing here is on the MACD, there is a crossover being created. There's momentum towards the downside. And yeah, this does not back up my theory. This would mean that we are still seeing a lot of momentum towards the downside, and that will be really difficult for this candle to be able to close higher than this upward sloping resistance line and finding support right on top of it. So for the current moment, I'm personally looking at Litecoin, and if Litecoin goes all the way down and finds support on top of these levels, that would be great as well. Of course, that still won't mean that we haven't started a downtrend, because that could be possible, especially because we are far underneath the upward sloping support and resistance line. That is the trend line, as you could see before. There are many touch points, and as well it shows us the overall trend was towards the upside. And once we break down below this trend line, I think it is of utmost importance to go once again back on top of it. But if we do not do so on the Litecoin compared to Bitcoin chart, that would be, for me personally, just a indicator that we could probably be seeing a trend reversal being created, and that would mean that we would be seeing Litecoin starting to go down during the upcoming weeks. But as it's seen right now, we saw over here just a little bit of momentum being created. You see that the MACD lines are right now not near to crossing over once again, so it is very possible that we still will see lots of downward momentum on Litecoin before it will be able to once again cross over and a momentum switch created towards the upside of a particular significance, but I'm personally not thinking that this will be very probable to happen just in the upcoming hours. And also, I will be heading towards the Litecoin compared to US dollar chart, and I would like to start with the daily time frame. And where we are looking at right now is also the overall market trend is towards the upside, and as well over here I will be drawing this trend line. And why I think this trend line is of utmost significance, as I told you before, is because we already saw many touch points on the Litecoin upward sloping support line. We saw a touch point over here, a touch point over here, a touch point over here, even a small touch point over here, and a fifth touch point over here. And currently we are trading underneath it, and that's why I think it is of such utmost importance to go right again above this level, because if Litecoin does so, it is very probable that the trend is not broken and that we will still see a new higher high being created. But let's take a look at the EMA ribbon and as well at the moving averages. And what we are seeing over here is that, yes, Litecoin did not find support on the inside of the EMA ribbon wave lines. Those are the green lines, and because it did not find support on it, I'm personally thinking that it could be also probable, especially because we saw as well on the MACD that the momentum switch towards the downside was created, that the shorts will be taking over. But once the shorts take over, it is just a downtrend that is getting started, and I personally would not like to see that, especially because Litecoin had already a great rally towards the upside and was still making each time higher highs and higher lows. So this would be devastating if Litecoin would not be heading back up again above this upward sloping support line, and right now it is currently serving as upward sloping resistance, of course. So let's take a look not just at the EMA ribbon but as well at the moving averages. And yes, as well over here, I'm not completely sure where I showed you the moving averages on the Polkadot chart or on Ethereum, where it looks very similar to this, but it could be Ethereum, I personally think. But what we're seeing is that we did not find support on top of the 50-day moving average. We broke below the 100-day moving average, and actually this was a really significant level of support, not only because the trend had already many previous touches as we saw before, but as well because right on top of this trend line as well, the 100-day moving average was over there, and this moving averages serve as support and resistance as well. And it did not find support neither on top of the moving average, the 100-day moving average, nor on top of the upward sloping support line. So it broke below it, and right now it is currently trading above the 200-day moving average. I think this is a great sign, because once a asset or cryptocurrency is still trading above the 200-day moving average, I think that is very good to know, because if an asset does so, it still has enough strength and still has found enough support on top of the moving average to possibly go towards the upside instead of towards the downside, and finding support right on top of it. So let's take a look at, well, not just at the moving averages, let's take a look at two separate things before I will be heading further. And that's something I wanted to show you, and that's something I think is very healthy on the Litecoin chart, and that is, once we saw on the Litecoin chart momentum towards the upside being created, we also saw the volume going up. And after that, once it went down, we saw as well that the volume went down. So that is just something very regular to happen. And as well, over here we saw a momentum switch towards the upside, and as well we saw volume towards the upside. And what you don't want to be seeing is, once a cryptocurrency asset or any type of chart goes up but the volume stays very low or doesn't go up as well, this means that the asset just had a ghost pump towards the upside and is very likely to go down. And right now, during this dump towards the downside, of course we saw a huge momentum switch of negative, well, of sellers on the volume, but still this is very normal, and this means it wasn't a ghost price action towards the downside. Of course, if it was a ghost price action towards the downside, it would be of very likely to go once again up. It would be even odd if it did not do so, but right now it is a action with a volume that actually confirms that a lot of people were selling this asset. So I personally think there's nothing really out of the ordinary going on the Litecoin compared to US dollar chart on the daily time frame. But let's take a look on the 4-hourly time frame where we are currently at, and I will be enabling the RSI, the relative strength index tool, to take a look where we are currently at. And this is giving me for sure hope for Litecoin, because what we are seeing is that we are underneath the dotted line on the RSI, and once we tend to go below, or we are at the part on the lowest part of the purple box, we see always that a trend towards a slight momentum of strength towards the upside is created, as well on the RSI as on the chart. And I see that the chart is not well placed for you to compare us, to make the same comparison as I'm doing, but I will be drawing this once again. You can take a look. Once you are at the bottom of the RSI, most of the times we see a momentum towards the upside being created on the RSI, and that's exactly what happened over here on the price action of Litecoin. And that's what I think that is very healthy about this over here, and that will be providing as well for Litecoin a level of support, because I personally think that the relative strength index won't be heading even lower, because it does not tend to do so. And if it goes even lower, after that we will see it going once again back up straight inside of the purple box and trading in between the two dotted lines. And as well, we will be seeing a reversal of the price action of Litecoin. I'm really hoping this relative strength index will give us enough momentum towards the upside to break above this upwards sloping support line. And let's take a quick look if we are not spotting any type of bullish or bearish divergence on the chart. But right now you are currently seeing over here there is a lower high on the chart over here, a lower high, and there is a higher, slightly higher high on the RSI. And when this happens, this means that there is a bearish divergence, and we are actually getting the confirmation of this very bearish divergence by the downward momentum that happened on the chart of Litecoin compared to the US dollar. So yes, we are spotting right now the bearish divergence, and I personally am waiting right now for a type of bullish divergence. But for this particular moment, I'm not waiting just for a bullish divergence, but just for the RSI to go once again up inside of the purple box, and as well taking the chart with it towards the upside, and that Litecoin will be able, due to this move on the RSI, to go once again through this upward sloping resistance and finding support right on top of it. That would be really healthy for Litecoin, and I personally think that that would be a confirmation of Litecoin that is trying to tell us that the momentum towards the upside, it's still not done yet. And overall, if we take a look at the overall market, altcoins did have a huge dump, but they are still looking very, very, very powerful. Most of them do. That's what I personally think. Of course, do your own due diligence before getting into any type of asset, but what I'm personally thinking is that it is just marvelous that we are seeing a pullback, but that we are also getting a lot of signals of different coins that it is very probable that they will be heading back up and just continuing with their uptrend as they did previously. So thank you very much for joining this live stream. I really appreciate you guys looking at my content. If you would like me to discuss any type of coin, please don't forget to leave a comment behind. I will be looking at it for now, for sure. And otherwise, don't forget to, if you like the content, to subscribe to the channel. And for the people who do not have their own exchange where they're trading cryptocurrencies at, of if you are searching for an exchange to trade at, down below in the description you will find these top three leverage trading exchanges where you can get up to $2,000 bonus on Femex if you use the referral link down below. So don't forget to do so if you would like to start your own leverage trading account, and as well you can even spot trade on these exchanges. So don't forget, they are both useful for leverage trading and spot trading, so that's something really amazing. So thank you very much for watching until now. I'm really appreciate all of you watching my content, and as I told you before, don't hesitate to ask any type of question if you have any type of requests right now. So no one has a request for this moment, and that's why I will be going to take a look at the last coin for today. And on today's live stream, I would like to talk about Medic, and I made a video about Medic. It actually is a coin I am just absolutely crazy about, especially if we look at the price action of Medic. I will be drawing just a few levels of support and resistance to give you a even more clearer look at how it is currently looking at. Let's take a look. Yes, over there. And what you are seeing immediately is that we were seeing this broadening ascending wedge being created, and yes, it broke through towards the upside. And right now this line over here, you can take a look at that, and I personally think that if you extend this line, this is the possible uptrend what we are seeing. But I'm not a fan of measuring it this way, and that's why I will be placing just this line a little bit more towards the upside like this, just measuring from the second point. I will be having still 2 touch points on this trend towards the upside, and if we take a look at this like that, it is probable for Polygon or Medic to go further down, find support on top of this upward sloping support line, where we already saw 2 touch points in the past, as I showed you, one over here and a second one over here. And for Polygon to make this uptrend even more significant, it would be very normal and very healthy if it tested once again this level of support and resistance. And once it does so, if it doesn't break down below like other coins we saw, but it has been performing so well lately that I personally think that this won't be happening. But if it finds support right on top of it, and we see a slightly confirmation by 2 different candles touching on top of this upward sloping support, I personally think it is a great entry for people that are not still invested in Polygon but would like to invest in Polygon. Of course, I'm personally as well waiting for this retest to add even more to my portfolio, because I think Polygon will be heading further up just absolutely insanely during the upcoming weeks, maybe days. But I'm for sure telling you this coin is not done pumping for now, and it is just marvelous to see that even the Bitcoin dump did not actually shock this coin that much. It had a bounce towards the downside, but it broke through this level of support where it was finding support on, but it did not break further down, and right now it is trading in between these 2 levels over here. And I think if it trades just downwards for a couple of days, we will see Polygon finding support on this upward sloping support line, and I personally think this is just great possible opportunity to buy your Polygon if you would like to invest in this particular cryptocurrency. I think it has a lot of potential, and if you would like me to give you all the information, I uploaded the video where I am not just telling you what a possible price target will be, but I am also looking at the fundamentals of Matic and Polygon, well, Polygon Matic, that are not just right now decided to merge together and become a huge member of the Ethereum network and provides for a 0 fees on all type of trading transactions. So that's just absolutely amazing. It's also very useful for developers that will be able to use the same rules and same guidelines on the Ethereum network. So it will be as well very user friendly for the developers and as well for us as users of their network. So I think that will be a huge project, and it has a lot of potential towards the upside. But let's take a look not just only at that, but let's place a second line over here, and let's look at this broadening wedge we are seeing once again on the Polygon chart. And yeah, we are seeing this broadening wedge becoming even bigger and bigger, and once a broadening wedge becomes this big, the possible move towards the upside once it breaks above this broadening wedge will be absolutely insane. And that is why I personally think that over here, if it tests this support, upward sloping support line, and finds support on it, after that we will see Polygon breaking once again through this level of upward sloping resistance of these broadening wedge. And I think the possible target toward the upside will be just a little bit too crazy, if you ask me, because Polygon will be going so far up that lots of people will say, why didn't I bought this when I had the possibility? But just for now, let's take a look at this possible breakout towards the upside that I'm personally waiting for to happen, and it would be a breakout that is even bigger. But let's take a look at this breakout just for the moment, because I think you have to be safe, better be safe than sorry, and that's why I'm measuring it just a little bit smaller than it could be probably being. So let's take a look. If it has a test on the upward sloping support line and it goes right above and it breaks above this upward sloping resistance, finds support on it, I personally think that we will be seeing a Polygon move towards the upside that will be looking approximately something like this, and that would be a move of not just a lot of percentages, absolutely marvelous move of 50%, but not just a move of 50%. It will also be a price target of $4.90. And if you take a look here down below, Polygon is right now just at $1.93. So it is a real bargain if you are looking to buy this, and especially if it tests this upward sloping support line, it will be at a price of $1.55 or 57 cents. And I personally think that that is just absolutely incredible if you could go towards the $5 target on Polygon for sure in this short term. And I'm just loving how the Polygon chart is looking for this current moment, and that's why I will be heading towards the Polygon compared to Bitcoin chart. We are seeing here, I draw a trend line over there, but we are seeing that it's already way up high all the way here, and of course it had a downward momentum due to today's flash crash on Bitcoin. But what I wanted to show you is not just that, it is the moving averages. And if you take a look at the moving averages, yes, we are still far above these moving averages. And when we tend to see the moving averages still being that far behind of the trend, that's when it is very likely that we will see this trend have a setback. But after that setback, it is not yet the time for the moving averages to move that close to the particular cryptocurrency to be able to find support on it. No, as you could see on Ethereum as well, once a asset breaks so far above the moving averages, it is very likely that a parabolic momentum towards the upside will be created, and that's why I personally think that will be happening in the upcoming month on Polygon for sure. And that's why I wanted to discuss this as well. So just go back to the 4-hourly chart, the last chart I will be taking a look at right now, and I will be disabling the moving averages and I will be enabling the RSI to give us a better look. And what we are seeing over here on the RSI, of course, after that huge momentum towards the upside on the Polygon / Matic price action, we saw that it broke above the dotted line on the upper part of the RSI. And as I showed you before, once it does so, it breaks below inside of the purple box, and once it is inside of the purple box, we will see as well the price action of Polygon go even further down. But that's not something I am worrying about, because as I showed you before, I'm really hoping for Polygon to retest this level of support. So a move towards the downside is something I'm personally just taking a close look at Matic and just patiently waiting for Matic to test that level of upward sloping support on the US dollar chart, and also on the Bitcoin chart, staying healthy above the moving averages, as well on the 4-hourly time frame, but as well seeing the EMA ribbon, staying above of the EMA ribbon, finding support right on top of it. Because if Matic or Polygon stays above these indicators, I personally think it is just an excellent performing asset as it looks right now. And if it stays as healthy as it is right away on this particular moment, for sure that we will be seeing a huge move towards the upside. And I think something really crazy needs to happen if Polygon tends to go and crash to very low levels. But that's just my personal opinion, of course. So once again, thank you all for watching this video. I really appreciate you joining my live stream. I must say that I was expecting more people to give me a coin to talk about, don't hesitate to ask for sure, because if you want me to discuss something, I will be discussing it for you if you place it on the chat on next time's live stream. But for now, I hope you really enjoy the content, and if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by smashing up not only the like button but as well the subscribe button if you would like to stay up to date for my future videos and as well for my future live stream, so you will be able to get your answers about crypto answered. Don't forget to also hit that bell notification. So once again, thank you all for watching this live stream, and I wish you a pleasant night. Bye bye.